Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast in which we smash apart the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1 minute chunks so we can analyze them in scrupulous detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Road to Infinity podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco, and yes, we've reached it, finally.
Part 3.
The third and concluding chapter of...
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
Oh, sing it to me, Dino.
Our pizza-related intro banter.
Yeah, that's right.
I probably could have come up with a better name for that.
But it is exactly what it is.
It is what it is. All right, so let me ask you this. What's the worst thing you do for pizza?
Oh, the worst thing you do?
What's the worst thing you do? Like, think about, like, okay, pizza. And let's say good pizza.
I know exactly the kind of pizza you're thinking.
Right.
Of. How far would I go for that?
How far would you go?
Would I lie? Yes. Would I cheat?
Ooh.
Yes. Would I steal? No. I think that's as far as I'd go.
You have an interesting hierarchy of moral obligations.
I went down the list of lie, cheat, and steal. Cheating, I mean, like in terms of on a test or something like that, not on a spouse.
Me?
Yeah.
Total disregard for structural and digital security.
Ooh.
I would just say, forget it.
Okay.
Medium cheese with jalapenos and sliced sausage. You're in. I don't care. I got no responsibilities.
The power of pizza.
I get paid with a check for my job, but you got pizza. What is going on?
Hey, man, Stanley makes a mighty fine pizza.
You know what? Maybe. I'm still ticked off about the last minute.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? What would you do for Stanley's pizza?
See,
would you lose your job?
Oh, come on. This is a world with we have to protect things. And pizza is not the universal key to destroying all of that protection.
I think it is. I think a good pizza can be the key to destroy.
It depends on the pizza.
It depends on the pizza.
That's what we find out.
Right. We don't get to see what's on the topic, so maybe it was the perfect pizza on there, but
my.
We'll see. The power of pizza opens the doors in minute 39 of 2008's Incredible Hulk movie directed by Louis Leterrier. We pick up with the rest of the cameo from our own Lou Ferrigno, who's looks carefully at the pizza. It has exactly the toppings he would take. Let's say if you open that up and that was covered in olives, then we know olives are the most evil of pizza
exactly.
toppings. So he would have been like, take this away. And
get out of here. I'm calling the police.
Right, he would have smashed the little man and off it would have gone. But apparently it wasn't right because he gets a nice smile on his face and then a deal is made. And Bruce says, "You are the man," which is a nice little, there's some meta stuff going on there too. And he says, "God bless you, brother."
You know what? I got to tell you.
That's a nice thing.
In everything we've talked about, all these wonderful little moments, right?
Yeah.
This is a wonderful moment that Lou is just being himself.
Yep. Oh yeah, exactly. It's like we all know what's going on.
Yes.
The audience knows what's going on. The actors know what's going on. The director knows what's going on. Like we're all in this together, guys.
No, and Ed's reaction to that, and it's just like what a interesting. Like I don't even think they wrote that line because why would you? God bless you, brother.
No,
like that's
I
not.
Think so. That sounds like Lou.
Yes.
From the times I've met him in the conventions and stuff too. That sounds like pure Lou improv.
Lewis went, dude. Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want to say because it's cut and print.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
I think that's great.
Yeah, but that's it. That's the power of pizza.
Yep.
So he gets through. So then we get to see, and then it's interesting. It takes on for a couple seconds. It takes on an interesting tone because the music sort of drops out to like a like you think like there's some danger happening here, and then Bruce slowly walks around the corner, still holding the one pizza.
I'm gonna slice in Michael Myers.
Right. And so you don't know, like he's all alone. Obviously, they say the 5th floor is supposed to be deserted.
Well, okay, which again, we're not sure about that.
Yeah.
But this shot, straight out of a horror movie.
Oh yeah, like straight, long lens down the hall.
Well,
like he steps out into the thing, and like I say, the music has had a little eerie sort of.
And all you see first is the pizza bag.
Right.
So I'm expecting a hockey mask and a machete,
or a bleached William Shatner mask and some coveralls.
What a weird! I mean,
it's a weird. It's for a couple seconds there. So it's a totally different movie he's stepped into.
It completely seems out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But is this because the tone is this? We're now going to this ominous
sort
of moment.
He doesn't know exactly what's going to happen here. He's a little unsure because odd is that it goes from that and they cut to, I think, one of the best shots of the movie. In terms of
transition-wise.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
It's a nice rolling shot where he's looking into now, like the computer lab that's set up with a bunch of extra computer parts above it. That seems a little unsafe. I don't know that would pass OSHA. But then as it passes over like the brickwork, like between the windows of it, he steps into the past. So like he's seeing a flashback and it's all hazy, so it's back then, and seeing that this computer lab, the computer lab now was his lab, back 3 or 4 years ago, and we get to see sort of them setting up for the experiment stuff too, and then we get a couple of quick shots. It's a really, really cool transition to sort of show what's going on in his head.
What is kind of cool is that when you look at that shot down the hallway, you see and this is a bit of an establishing shot, is that you see these pillars of bricks that where the window openings are. Mm-hmm. So that's what the transition device is. And we talked, you and I have talked about this a lot, even ourselves, just about when we love when directors and editors use cool, creative ways to transition between scenes.
Yeah.
So they're using one of those pillars of brick to actually, pan across the screen, going from present day back into his
one smooth movement.
vision.
So it's like matching the shots together. It was really, really cool.
The other thing that really hits out at you is the technology difference, which I think it's almost, now to me it's a little too much, because what is this? We're talking about 3 years, roughly,
right? I know. There's like when they go into modern, they're all flat screen monitors.
Yes,
and it goes across, and they're CRTs. They're like, I was like, okay.
Well, and even there's tapes in the background. Like,
that's right. Yeah,
it doesn't look like 3 years.
No,
it looks like 25.
Yeah, it looks like they step back into the television show because I mean, the technology is so far back, especially for what should have been a high tech lab in the early 2000s.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. So then we get to see a little bit of what we saw only in snippets in the opening sequence, and that's the night that it all went wrong. So we see Betty sort of looking on a little disapprovingly, it seems.
Right, concerned. She's concerned.
Exactly. Like, are you sure you know what you're doing here, Bruce? Like, again, how Bruce convinced all these people that he should be the one they experiment on. Another interesting story that has yet to be told. But then they go right to that same shot that we saw of the crosshairs going across his face, straight out of the first episode of the Incredible Hulk television series. And then when it goes across, we see from Bruce's perspective, we see Betty across the way, and then the light comes over his face. It makes a big sound here, and I think there might have been a roar buried in there.
Yeah, somewhere buried in the layering of the sound.
Because it's sort of like it goes really big, and then all of a sudden it snaps back, and he's back into modern times where he's just standing there, pretty much like facing himself, like where he would have been. Like it's a match cut of like his face to his face in the same place in the frame, but on the other side of the glass.
Right.
Back at his Stanley pizza delivery uniform.
This uses some really simple but very effective filming techniques and in post-production. Sure. The color grading is different.
Yep.
The haze, there's a haze over it all. It very quickly and simply portrays to the audience this is a vision.
Yeah.
And it's well done. And
it's go right into his head and then right back out of it.
Right.
So then we get to see into the computer lab, which is where he's been headed, and we see somebody in the background. We're not exactly sure, who that is at this point, but there's one person here on the floor. And then so Bruce then sits down at a computer and starts talking again.
That was jarring. Like a computer lab.
All of a sudden
he's
like, oh, I guess you're just allowed to sit down.
And now Pizza Guy's got access to a terminal.
I guess so. And so he sits down, and this is a Dell 2700 FP. This is a 20-inch TFT active matrix LCD monitor. So this is how far things have come. That is not a computer. That is a monitor.
Right.
So the computer is actually down below, probably, likely. I mean, it's like, now you can have an all-in-one that could be that small, but at the time, this is just a...
well, I love the fact that it said... I remember when monitors said active matrix, right? Because that was a thing.
This is what... So we're going to get into some computer stuff here, because this is what I do for my day job, is technology. And so... across the back, I looked to see this monitor had a DVI-D port, a VGA port, an S-video port, 2 USB ports, and an RCA jack. That's how far back this was from. An RCA jack. Right, but if you look at the thing on there, it's got, on the far left is the power, then there's the DVI, then there's a VGA, and then farther down there's probably something hooked up into the USB port.
Right.
Why does it have a DVI and a VGA port plugged in the same? Those are both video things. So why is it getting two different video signals? I don't understand it. Like, from the computer, you only need one video out to video in. Where's the second video thing coming from?
It has to look complicated.
I guess that's probably what it was.
You need an extra
like,
cord.
More cords. Plug in more cords.
Why not more cords?
Like, you don't need two video inputs if you only have one computer that's coming to. Or is there a second source that's coming into that too in this computer lab?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't know.
that.
I don't get that. But well, what are you going to do?
It is there.
It's there, yeah. So then he goes over and starts to log in. And here's my second nerdy technology quibble. Okay, so he writes in username, it says, not staff name. It says username. So this is your login name. Dr. Elizabeth Ross. No. Especially not in 2008.
Oh, spaces. First of all,
First of all, no punctuation unless it's between the two things.
Not a period.
Nobody gets a title in their username.
No.
Nobody. Like, as someone who works in education, no professor, no doctor, you don't get that in your username.
Okay, of course.
You just first and last. And probably at this time, it wouldn't even been first and last. It would have been first initial last name. So it should have been E-Ross. E.Ross or Elizabeth.Ross. But that's your username, not your personal name, your username.
You can't do that here.
Actually, at the time, I remember my first computer account I got in like 2000 actually, right around. No, actually, take it back. I got my first one in college. So that would have been in the early 90s. Sure. And it was K. Olson 1.
But you can't do that.
So it would have been E-Ross 1.
But then you can't do that because why? Because we have clearly shown on the screen Dr. Elizabeth Ross.
So this is another one of those like movie magic things that you have to be like, all right, take it as like. Why do they have it? Why is her name in a giant sign outside of her building? Well, for the same reason that her username is Dr. Elizabeth Ross.
We need to telegraph to the audience who we're dealing with.
That he's committing cybercrime.
Because E-Ross, that could be the general. Maybe his middle name's Ernest.
Thunderbolt Ernest Ross.
Ernie? I don't know.
So he obviously he's committing a cybercrime here. Using someone else's login credentials, which is a huge problem.
Yes, a huge problem. How did he even get here? I don't understand this.
Right. And so then we see as we're looking at like, how did he get this? Then they cut to the other person that's in the room. They cut to another guy sitting there who holds up a slice of pizza, and then, oh, that's what it is. He bribed the computer guy with pizza so he could like, hey, dude, can I just like check my email or something?
That's insane!
Because it's the power of Stanley's Pizza. I don't think you understand how good this pizza is. Look how many doors it's already opened. It allowed... it's like Bruce got into Stanley's Pizza because, even though he's a known fugitive, it got him into the lab and it got him access to secure computers. Like, this doesn't seem to be a public computer lab. This is the science department, like their lab. This isn't free lab time. Nobody's in there working on their term paper.
This is where the minute ends?
That's where the minute ends.
I need to find out. I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
You got to listen for the next minute because the next minute I need to know if this was mission critical in the plot of this movie. Because if it was, then you're telling me that a platter of dough, cheese, and sauce is the key to all of this happening.
Don't underestimate the power of pizza. This is Stanley's Pizza.
Whatever.
But before we wrap up, though, we need to talk about the other guy.
Oh, yeah, who's this other guy?
Because as they show him, that is Martin Starr. Martin Starr is one of my actual favorite actors. He is like from Freaks and Geeks where he started out. But the more important thing is he's going to show up again in the MCU.
What?
Because he plays Mr. Harrington in both Spider-Man MCU movies.
Oh, no way!
Yes, he is Peter Parker's teacher in Spider-Man Far From Home and Spider-Man Homecoming.
Who's to say this isn't Harrington?
And that's what they have said. They have retconned it and said this was Mr. Harrington when he was a college student. He went to Culver University and graduated and then went to teach at...
Well, Clearly, this is why he lost students on his field trips, because he's letting people access a high-tech computer lab for pizza.
It's Stanley's Pizza, though. Oh, you have to understand the power of pizza.
I'm leaving. That's it.
The moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's amore.
It's the power of pizza. So Martin Starr is actually really good. He's a hard-working man. He's had 110 credits on IMDb. He was in Freaks and Geeks. He was in Knocked Up. He was in Superbad. And most recently, he wrapped up his role as Bertram Guilfoyle on Silicon Valley, which I gotta say had one of the best final episodes of a sitcom I've ever seen. Like
Nice.
they really nailed that ending, which is a hard thing to do. So yeah, it was great. Like they've gone on and said, Kevin Feige has said, yeah, it's the same guy. Just like they've said, oh yeah, the kid at the Stark Expo was Peter Parker.
That's
sure.
so great. That's outstanding.
Right. So they've said this thing because he's not credited as anything. He's just computer nerd, I think is his credit.
He does have a credit. He
is a credit. Yeah, he's credited in the movie. Yeah, even though he doesn't have a line, he's basically that's his whole thing.
Just
He's
computer
holding up
nerd?
the pizza. Yeah,
Not
computer
pizza
nerd.
eating computer
not pizza
nerd?
eating computer nerd. No, IMDb doesn't get that specific. What will Bruce discover by his cybercrime logging in as his ex-girlfriend? Well, you'll have to wait and see in minute 40. In the meantime, if you like what we're doing here, if you want to have a one-on-one with us about your favorite pizza toppings and the power of pizza and what pizza has done for you, you can do that over at Patreon. Yes, we have our own Patreon. You can go to dexreel.com/Patreon. You can support us. Even $1 a month will help us.
$1.
Bandwidth isn't free, unfortunately. Neither are microphones.
Not free.
Yeah. And please help us buy pizza for our staff.
Oh, that would be very
Right?
nice, actually.
Yeah, we would like that.
And good pizza.
Yeah, exactly. You give us the money, we'll promise we won't buy terrible pizza.
No, of course not.
No pizzas from Papa's.
Oh, see, I wasn't going to go there.
I know. I'm
But
just saying,
I'm going to tell you,
right.
no,
Yeah,
absolutely
no,
not.
absolutely not. So we thank you all for listening. Hope you had a smashing good time. Until next time, true believers.
Bye.